F1 What If? Michael Schumacher retires at the end of the 2001 season. The world changed forever on September 11th, 2001, but one of the very insignificant ripple effects of this was the effect it had on reigning Formula One world champion Michael Schumacher. The German was on his way to a fourth world title and having just broken the all-time race win record ending the season on 53. He was so badly affected by the incident he briefly considered retirement, having done it all. Ultimately, his love for racing saw him return to the sport. So what if? What if Michael Schumacher retires at the end of the 2001 season? Ferrari used the inside track through the Sauber testing at Mugello to get their hands on wonderkid Kimi Räikkönen over McLaren, who instead go for their former junior driver, and Kimi's Sauber teammate Nick Heidfeld. Bar charts and white livery F1 cars are not made to be together. 2002, Ferrari's monster car and Barrichello's terrible start to the season saw 23-year-old Kimi become the youngest world champion in history, winning in Australia on debut just like he would in 2007. Heidfeld makes no impact with a terrible and unreliable McLaren. Ralph was the biggest midfield beneficiary of his brother leaving, but nobody could save us from Ferrari domination. 2003, McLaren and Williams are back to challenge, and the young team leaders at the big three teams have a classic title fight. Kimi and Heidfeld are never more than 9 points apart all season, while Montoya's monster run through the hot European summer made it a three-way fight till the last two races. In the biggest change from reality, Nick Heidfeld, famously one of the top three drivers to never win a race, is your 2003 world champion. 2004. Nothing changes, as just like in 2002, a dominant Ferrari walks over the underperforming McLaren and Williams with a Jenson Button-led BAR and Renault coming on but not there yet. Kimi walks to the title with both Ferraris scoring more points, with a downgrade from Kimi to Heidfeld in the McLaren seat opened the door for Ferrari to score even more points. Nobody was beating mid-2000s Kimi at Spa. 2005, Heidfeld makes little difference in the title fight, but all the top drivers score more points as we remove some of Schumacher's patchy performances in a season where he had a major spike in driving errors, which cost him points, while Kimi at this point is operating overall slower in pace, but more consistent by not throwing it in the wall in Australia, for example. Heidfeld felt like Kimi had the fastest car, but it was too unreliable for anyone on the grid to win the title. 2006, Kimi and Alonso have their title fight, and despite getting within 5 points of Fernando with a win at Monza, Alonso wins the title with even more ease, securing the title with Kimi's Ferrari engine failure in Japan. Down the grid, Heidfeld's 2002 move to McLaren has its biggest effect outside the two featured drivers, with Robert Kubica getting a full-time drive at BMW with Jacques Villeneuve, putting the 1997 champion very much in the shade with a 24-6 points edge. So what's changed? Both Heidfeld and Kimi unsurprisingly have better careers in this scenario. Quick Nick takes a world title in 2003 along with 9 career wins. That probably would have been more had he stayed on at the front of the grid McLaren through 2007 and beyond. Kimi takes 2 world championships in 2002 and 2004 and wins 25 races rather than the 9 he did between 2003 and 2005, would leave him with a final career win total of around 35 had he stayed at Ferrari through 2009. How does 2007 go? Would Hamilton get onto the grid at all? McLaren would have a team of Alonso and Heidfeld that would probably see Alonso win the 2007 title, then stay and repeat in 2008. So, how good was the Sauber class of 2001? Kimi's career average falls to the bottom tier of world champions. This is heavily affected by his Ferrari comeback in 2014. Being obliterated by Alonso, then soundly beaten by Vettel in the later stages of his career, can not only be attributed to age, His peak form is slightly above anything Button and Nico Rosberg managed, making him a top 20 driver of all time, but not at the all-time greatest levels. Kimi Räikkönen driver rating, 78 out of 100. Nick Heidfeld could have been a world champion, but like Kubica in an earlier video, only in a circumstance of having a top car and not having an all-time driver alongside him. He only just wins the 2003 world title against Kimi in the Ferrari, but had Schumacher had the Ferrari seat, Schumacher wins that title with at least a race to spare. Heidfeld was extremely unlucky to never win a race, as he had the talent to be an excellent number 2 driver to an all-time driver and could have been in several title fights through the 2000s had he been in a McLaren or Ferrari rather than a Sauber or Jordan. Nick Heidfeld driver rating, 68 out of 100.